the Fit Couples Perspective. We got myself and my husband over here, Michael Hildebrand.
What's up, guys?
AKA Trainer Mike, the one and only, the top dog. How are you today?
I'm just here today.
You're awesome. You're just here. You're not excited to be here?
Just here today.
Okay.
Ready to roll.
Okay, so we have actually, I think, a really, really good topic. I think this is for everybody because even the questions that I have prepared, I want to know other people, even that are like in the fitness influencer, fitness guru world, I would be interested in what their answers would be, like coming from every person. So I'm going to ask Trainer Mike, the one and only, all the questions, and if I have anything that I think should go along with it, then I'll add on.
I hope you do.
I think he knows his stuff, so
we'll see. I don't know.
We will see. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions, and these are like the most top asked fitness questions. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. The top first question is, how often should I work out?
Oh, always. All the time. No, it's a good question. It's one that comes up a lot. And honestly, I think the first thing that people need to look at, like a lot of people are looking for a very specific, like what is the magic amount of days per week? And I think there's so many other things that go into that other than just, you know, picking a days per week that are going to help make you successful. First thing you need to do is you need to figure out what's realistic for your lifestyle. A lot of people get excited when they start a fitness program and they think like, oh, I'm going to go work out 7 days a week. Like I will be there every single day. And then motivation dies off and we have to rely on discipline, and they find out that there's not discipline to work out 7 days per week. So that's the first thing that you need to figure out. But once you have your actual what's realistic for your lifestyle figured out, you're going to need to be doing some kind of exercise 3 times per week. I think that's kind of a bare minimum number that I would have to throw out there, and up to 7. But somebody can't work out really, really hard 7 days a week without getting so much fatigue built up that they start to see those symptoms of overtraining. So first, you got to figure out what works in your life. But I'd say minimum of 3 days per week, up to 7. Most people are going to land somewhere in that 4 to 5 days per week.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to that. I think, yeah, what you were saying is like finding something that works in your life. Because I think what happens, especially if you're new into fitness, or you're like trying to like, you know, like do 75 hard, or like one of those like, you know, like almost like a crazy, like going from like a huge like difference of a lifestyle is what I mean. And I think the tendency people have is like, I'm gonna go like 6 days a week, I'm gonna be there at the gym every day, and then they don't go one day and then they feel like, oh, I just like blew the whole thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think there's a couple different ways you can break it down if you're just starting a fitness program. As I would say, pick 3 days a week that you know you can go there and dedicate at least an hour to that exercise. Or you say, hey, I'm going to plan on going 5 or 6 days a week, but I might only stay for 20 or 30 minutes just to start developing that habit. What I've seen the most success with is those people that are going to go 3 days per week and really actually dedicate some time to that. It's realistic for a lot of people, but it's not realistic to go from not exercising at all to now I'm going to go 7 days a week of exercise.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question is, and this one, I think we're going to butt a little on our heads a little bit. How long should you work out?
Again, so this one depends totally on how hard you are working out, because just because you spent X amount of time at the gym doesn't mean you're working out for that whole time. And I mean, we all know people that go into the gym for a really, really long time, but they're not productive with their time there. And so I think it's actually, you have to look at what somebody's doing. Like, you like to sometimes sit in the sauna for 10 or 15 minutes beforehand. Like, obviously that doesn't count as exercise, right? We're doing other things there. Some people will use a massage bed after their workout, and so they're there for a little extra longer because of that. Some people like to take a really long time to warm up. That, should we really count that towards their exercise time? But I think really when you look at what is actually productive, somebody needs to spend, 30 minutes of intense exercise at some point in there, with a probably more ideal spot being 60 minutes. And that's what the research actually suggests. They say 60 minutes of moderate to intense vigorous activities on most days of the week. I just don't think most people are going to see a lot of benefit above that 60 minutes. But here's the other thing. Like, how sedentary are you? Do you sit in an office all day long? You might want to go for a little closer to 2 hours of exercise because you're on your butt all day. Where other people are really active and they might just need to go in there and get some resistance training on. Yeah. So I know you typically like to work out for about 6 hours a day. And some people might say that's a little extensive, right?
Oh my gosh, do not believe him. 6 hours.
No, but yours isn't. Like, you're hardly exercising at all.
Okay, here we go. Right? I knew you were going to say something dumb.
No. It really, I think 60 minutes is a really good spot for a lot of people that don't have, like, any kind of extreme goal, like bodybuilding, or they're getting ready for triathlon, marathon, something like that. Powerlifting, some of that stuff can take extra long. Or just trying to be a super jacked mom like you.
Yeah, I think I just want to also say, I think if you work out in a good intensity, almost kind of like a CrossFit workout, type of where you're moving the entire hour and you're busting your butt the entire hour, you only need an hour.
Oh yeah.
But the way that I like to work out isn't I do like that from time to time, but what I mean is I like to do a little more steady state cardio. I like to do my weight training. I like to do supersets in between. So it would take a little bit longer instead of doing kipping pull-ups and then doing, snatches and then doing, all these things back to back to back in a, super short amount of time.
Yeah, but that's also where you get to take a look at how much time do you actually have to work out. You can adjust your workout accordingly. If you only have an hour to work out, you might do more of that, right?
Yeah, I would. If I do have less time, let's say we're on vacation, we want to we don't want to spend our vacation in the gym. So normally we don't ever work out longer than an hour on vacation. Yeah. And we normally, both of us, I think, work out at a higher intensity in that hour. So I think that also, it's all
somebody
relative.
has an hour on their lunch break and they need to be, changed and back to work in, an hour. They might go for a 30-minute workout that needs to be higher intensity, and you absolutely can do that.
Yeah. Okay, the next question is, do I need to warm up before my workout?
Do I need to? This depends on what kind of workout you plan on doing and really what kind of shape you're currently in. It is a good idea for everybody to do at least 5 minutes of a lower to moderate intensity cardio warm up before they start working out. That's just kind of standard minimum warm up expectation. But here's the thing. I think a lot of people spend way too much time warming up. And really what we need to do is we need to just make sure we get some blood flow with that cardio. And then as long as you are a person that doesn't have these seriously restrictive issues when it comes to your mobility and your flexibility and your range of motion, you should just be able to go out there and start exercising. Now your first set's going to be a little lighter. It's going to be like a warm-up set where we're really making sure we get the range of motion going, and then we start getting a little more intense from there. But I used to spend 20, 30 minutes warming up for a work. It's a waste of energy for a lot of people. Just get to the workout. I don't think you're really doing a whole lot to reduce your risk of injury past a certain point.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like that I would agree with your answer. I tend to warm up. My warm up is usually just cardio.
Yeah.
I feel like my body, everything is blood flow. My joints have all moved and stretched. So I don't feel like I need to go do the splits or something.
That's good. Yes, don't do the splits before your workout, just to do the splits before your workout. You might end up hurting yourself more.
Okay, I think I know what your answer is going to be, but I am interested to know, and maybe you could tell the people, why you're, obviously going maybe a little more depth on why your answer is this, but Is strength training more important than cardio training?
I would say most people, look, the answer to a lot of these is it depends, right? It depends on what your goal is. If you're training for...
We need answers, Trainer Mike.
If you are training for a marathon, you're going to go do cardio, right? But I would say the majority of people that are just coming into the gym trying to lose some body fat, see some more muscle tone, just be in better shape, you're probably going to get more return on your investment of time from doing a strength training than you are a cardiovascular training. However, depends on your goal, and I think the mistake a lot of people make is they tend to go towards cardio because they feel the sweat, right? And they feel their body temperature rise and they think, well, I must be burning a lot more calories doing my cardio than I am my strength training. And that's not necessarily the truth. You're probably going to burn just as many, if not more, doing strength training, but we shouldn't really be using exercise as a strong means to create this calorie deficit. That should come from restricting your food more than exercise. So I would say the majority of the time I'm going to pick strength training over cardio. And the other part of it is this, like, you can get a lot of your movement and activity outside of the gym, right? But I can't just go to the park and find a bench press. I can't go to the park and find a squat rack, or some bicep curl machines. Like, you're probably not going to find that, but you can find ways to go on a walk, park at the back of the parking lot, go walk around the mall or the park or whatever it is you want to do and get your activity in there.
Babe, come on. You could be more innovative. Okay, get like a tree branch, pull that tree down and start benching.
I mean, I'm not going to say I
wouldn't. Rocks.
Most people
you can find kids at the park. You could bench them.
It's true.
So I feel like you're really just sandbagging that.
I just prefer a bar when I'm benching
and not a kid
than a human.
Okay.
I know, kind of crazy, but that's just me.
I'll give it to you. Okay, so mine is basically the same. I think if I was to especially for girls, I think girls, I think they strength training, and I think that it's coming around, but I think for a long time it got a really bad rap for girls. Girls were just what do they call cardio bunnies or whatever?
Yeah, cardio queen.
Yeah, and it's all they do, but now I don't see as many, I feel like I don't see as many younger girls just doing cardio.
And it's great, which is awesome.
And a lot of more of them are on the
and people, in my opinion, looking better than they ever have, right? Because they actually have some muscle to them and some of that muscle tone. They're building better bodies.
Yeah.
Strength training will do that.
Yeah. And if I was to talk to a girl and she was in relatively good shape, not she didn't need to lose weight, but she didn't need to necessarily gain weight, and she wanted to go to the gym, I would say strength training for sure, and to lift heavy. Mm-hmm. And that's how she would see the biggest difference and most quickly, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your cardio past a certain point, obviously it's good for your heart and your lungs, it's cardiovascular training, but using it as a means to burn calories and lose body fat is pretty ineffective. You just don't burn enough calories. You don't burn as much as people think to be able to offset poor food choices. Your primary way of creating a calorie deficit and losing body fat should be lowering your food and not doing more cardio. Cardio can be a little bit of a tool to help you burn a little bit more calories, but nobody's going to get shredded from cardio alone. That's coming from your diet.
Okay, so this is a good question then to go into that one. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay, what is the best type of workout for weight loss?
Best type of workout for weight loss is eating less food.
That's not a workout.
Yes.
Not opening your mouth as much.
I mean, but that is the truth, and it's such I get where the question's coming from, mm-hmm. but it's the wrong question for people to ask if they're trying to lose weight. There's the right area of focus has to be the nutrition. Though my workout rarely changes. If I'm getting ready for a show, I'll do more cardio, but my workouts don't really change that much in the gym. The best workout for somebody trying to lose weight is going to be a combination of strength training and cardiovascular training, where you're lifting at a high intensity, you're training at or close to failure, and you're incorporating some moderate to high intensity cardio in there as well.
Okay. Okay, what is the best way to help sore muscles?
The best way to help sore muscles is to train more. It's what's the best way to get rid of a hangover? I always hear it's just to drink more alcohol, right? No, I think that, you're not going to get rid of sore muscles. Like, when you don't try to say, like, hey, like, how can I ever reduce or get rid of the pain completely that I feel after a workout? Because you're going to have to learn to deal with some of that. However, I think there's some tools that you can use, none of which I really use. For those people that have a lot of time, they want to take like an Epsom salt bath, that could be a good idea. There's some massage techniques that can be really helpful there as well. But the biggest thing somebody can probably do is just eat enough protein and make sure that you're getting enough rest. Those two things will allow your body to recover quickly and might lower down that soreness sooner.
And I think a lot of people ask for like supplements that would help.
Yeah, and it really is just getting your protein in, honestly. Like, and I know we had that discussion recently about recovery supplements. It's get enough protein in. Okay. There's really not a ton of supplements out there that are going to drastically improve your recovery other than protein. And that needs to be the priority and the focus there.
Okay, the next question I feel like is one of those like trolley questions.
Trolley
questions that, like, I think like fitness gurus or whatever, they have like this huge, like, you only can do it. Okay, let me preface with the question. What time of day is the best to work out? So you have people, I feel like fitness influencers, like, only work out in the morning, then you start your metabolism, you do this, or only work out at night, and so you'll sleep better, or whatever. So
I must not be a very good fitness influencer then.
Well, no. I'm just saying, like, I think it's a trolley question.
Yeah,
because
I know what you're
the
saying.
Answer is not like you can answer because I already know the answer.
The best answer to the question is whenever you feel the best and whenever it makes sense for your schedule. Like, you should not be trying to make like massive adjustments to your lifestyle, your family, your career, just because the fitness influencer told you to work out in the morning because it might boost your metabolism instead of later in the day. Yes, if you get some activity in the morning, it's going to help elevate that calorie burn, probably make you feel a little better throughout the day, but that doesn't mean it has to happen. Like, we're splitting hairs here. That's a very small part of the equation. The best time of day to work out is when you can fit it in and when it makes sense for your lifestyle. But I think part of it depends on what your goal is too. Like, if you're a CrossFitter and you're doing super intense CrossFit workouts, like, you may want to have some food in you before you work out. But if you're just, going for a long, low intensity cardio, you're probably fine waking up and popping right on your cardio from there. So some of it depends on how intense you're training. You might want some food, some water in you first, and that can be hard to do if you train first thing in the morning. I do recommend not training immediately before bed. Not that I think a lot of people do that, but if you train right before you go to bed, like I know, you sometimes, like, then you have to adjust how you have your pre-workout, and then it kind of messes with your workout because it messes with your sleep. And I'm the same way. If I do anything too intense before bed, it takes me a couple hours to really get to sleep. So you have to pay attention to your body and what makes the most sense for you there.
Yeah. Okay. And the last question, I think we had like an entire episode about this before, but I'm going to ask it again. It is a good question. How do I stay motivated to continue working out?
Yeah, well, you don't stay motivated. Nobody stays motivated.
Yeah, that's the kicker.
Motivation is a short-term thing. Motivation typically comes when we start something, right? We get excited about something, and it's the same thing as excitement. I was excited, to be a parent for the first time, to see my kid for the first time. And am I excited about every parenting thing that happens that I have to do? No. But it's discipline that comes with that. And that's really what it is for exercise. Like, you're not going to be motivated all the time, but you have to learn to develop some of those habits and rely on discipline. Just yesterday, I was complaining the whole way to the gym. I'm like, I was so tired. I slammed my pre-workout and thought I was going to fall asleep for the next hour. And it took me like 45 minutes to get into my workout. But it's just like, it wasn't even a question. It was like, well, we're going to the gym. It's just what we do. And so it's like brushing your teeth. I like comparing it to that. Like, are you always motivated to brush your teeth? Are you like, oh, I'm so excited to brush my teeth?
Not excited.
Great. So why do you do it?
Because I don't want to get cavities.
You don't want to get cavities, right? I think a lot of times that's why people work out. Like, oh, I don't want to get overweight. I don't want to get out of shape. I don't want to be unhappy with the way I look or feel. So, but you can draw inspiration from other sources, and I think that's cool. Look back at previous progress pictures, have some people on social media that inspire you, listen to cool podcasts like the Fit Couples Perspective, and they inspire you too, of course, obviously. So, inspiration is okay, but you're going to have to rely on some discipline. As much as you can create it a habit, the better. I put up a caption in one of my posts recently, like, make it so much of a habit that not doing it becomes more uncomfortable than doing it. And, for me, like an OCD person, definitely the case. Definitely the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to add to that. It's just, motivation is discipline, basically. Motivation is always is the beginning, and then the motivation will trail off 100%. Like, it's never gonna not be that way. So you have to have that discipline there. You were comparing it to brushing your teeth and to like being a parent, but you can also like being married. At first it's almost like that lust and not love, and so that like moves into that. And so it's like the same thing with this. It's like motivation to work out, but you can't rely on that because that will end, that will fade. So that's, you have to keep doing it, and you have to motivate yourself internally. Like, it can't be, there's a lot of people that are at the gym and never really look different, but they always are in really good shape, if that makes sense. And you can just tell that that's like discipline.
It's a lifestyle. It's discipline.
Yeah. So, that's my take on motivation.
No,
it's not a forever thing. It's very short-lived. Motivation is like a fairy tale, I feel like.
Yeah. And I like what you brought up. We could have a whole podcast on this about like the marriage thing, It's like, it's funny now seeing a lot of people that I interact with that are younger, and they like, find that hot girl for the first time they go on a date with. They're like, I love her. I'd do anything for her. It's like, no, you wouldn't. You're excited right now, but you wouldn't. And then sure enough, a couple weeks later, that fades off and they're on to the next thing. And, perhaps one might say we have a problem with that in our society. And, I think just in general, people they rely too much on that motivation, that excitement, that lust, and not enough on like, I'm going to make a commitment to actually following through with something, whether I feel like it or not.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
That's all the questions that I got. I think that
good, because I was out. I was out of answers. So hopefully
You're
that's
never
helpful.
out of answers.
And it's, again, like, this whole podcast is just us sharing our perspective with you.
And it's right. It's 100% right.
Nothing we say, like, don't be like, oh, I have to do that because that's what they said or anything. It's just, you pick up from different people on what, you feel like makes sense for you, and use that to create your own daily disciplines and habits to help you be successful.
Yeah, hopefully we do that for you guys, and hopefully this podcast is helpful. And let us know if you guys have any questions or topics that we can go over on the podcast. And we also, obviously, you can listen to us on, Apple Podcasts, all those things, but you can watch us too. So you got to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you know what? If you like us that much, we have a YouTube channel where we eat crumble. And that's a great channel cool too. So if you are looking to watch us eat, watch us talk, we are on YouTube for the Fit Couples Perspective and Savory Swole-mates. And we look forward to talking to you guys again.
See you guys.
Bye.